And it all started week 1 when the Chargers beat the Chiefs, and now Kansas City is sitting here, 4.5-point home favorite, but they're going to have to win out. They're going to have to get some help. Sportsline puts it at 6%. A 6% chance Kansas City makes the playoffs.
Well, I think that's a little low, to be honest with you. And when you look at it, look at their schedule. I mean, the schedule's not daunting.
The problem is they need other help.
They need to win 2 home games against 2 good teams. That's basically what they need to do. They need to beat the Chargers, and they need to beat the Broncos at home. Then look at the other 2 games. Those you count those as checkmark wins, right? At the Titans, at the Raiders, they win those games. So if you beat the Chargers this week, and you beat the Broncos, and you run that table, there's a good chance you're going to get in because the Chargers schedule is brutal too, and you'll have to get that win and knock them down a peg. So it's possible, and I think it starts. Look, the quest will start this week because I think they win this game. And I said it last week. I'm going down with the ship, but the Chargers are on a short week too. I mean, that's always a challenge when you play on the Monday night and then you got to go back out on the road. And they didn't look great on Monday. The offensive line got just beat up, and I think their defense, which hasn't been great, the Chiefs' pass rush hasn't been great unless they blitz. I think they'll get after Herbert. He did some amazing things running the football, but you saw every time he got up, he was grabbing that hand, trying to protect that hand. I think Spagnuolo will throw everything at him, force him to get the ball out of his hand, and I think the Chiefs will win the game.
You and I both know that with the Chargers' offensive line situation, Spags probably doesn't even need to pressure these guys, to pressure Justin Herbert.
Well, they haven't rushed the passer very well though this year.
With the gentlemen they have at the line of scrimmage, wearing that powder blue and gold, okay, they're having a hard time blocking, the bag man at the grocery store right now.
True.
So if they're going to be going against any of these guys front 4, I have concerns. Spags lights him up with a little pressure. I could see opportunity for Justin Herbert to take advantage of this thing. Saw it earlier in the season. One thing that the Chiefs struggled to do against Justin Herbert at the beginning of the season was contain when he did take off running. And we saw him run a little bit last night. Give me the Chargers here.
Well,
that's all I'm going to say. Give me the Chargers.
Okay,
to win the game?
Plus 4.5, but to win the game as
Give
well?
me the Chargers plus 4.5.
All right, but you're not going to say they're going to put the death knell on the Chiefs.
Chargers plus 4.5. I'm not putting the death knell on the Chiefs.
He didn't sprinkle the money line on top.
I've watched enough TV shows to know that when you get the villain down, you got to put him out. I haven't seen anybody completely put him out yet. There's not a 0 next to their playoff chance, so I'm not burying them completely.
We did an exercise upstairs where Pete picked every single game result the rest of the way, the final 4 weeks of the season, and lo and behold, the Chiefs were in the playoffs.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they made it.
That's why you can't, never say never.
You never know. I mean, they win out. They have a real chance to get in the playoffs.
They've got a shot, but they've got to win out. All right, let's go to the Jets and the Jags. And this is the first of several large spreads this week, 11.5. Pete, the Jags are laying their most points since 2007.
This could be a trap game. They played the Colts last week, beat the Colts. They play at the Broncos next week. And say the Broncos lose this week to the Packers, that game could be for the number 2 seed in the AFC, as crazy as that sounds. So you got to be careful with this one. But unless they turn the ball over, and they're not doing that right now, they're playing good football. Particularly Trevor Lawrence, he's playing really good football. For all the people who criticized him early in the season, and I was one of them, he wasn't playing very well.
What's changed?
Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers coming to that team, he trusts him. The offensive line played really well last week, and they're playing better. And Jacoby Myers has made the trust factor part of the equation, but also he's done a great job with Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas was a shell of himself. Brian Thomas came out of that shell in the last 2 weeks, and you could really see it last week with the big plays down the field. The passing game's much better. I think defensively, they lead the league in run defense. And you look at them and say, how? Because they're not great when you look at the personnel, but they do lead the league in run defense. So I think this is a game, unless they turn it over.
Tonight on Chiefs Kingdom Report, we confront a moment unlike anything this franchise has felt in more than a decade. For years, the Kansas City Chiefs were the standard of excellence, a machine built on discipline, creativity, and an unshakable belief that no matter the deficit, no matter the opponent, no matter the odds, they would find a way to win. That belief became our identity. It became the heartbeat of Chiefs Kingdom. But now, the reality is unavoidable. The Chiefs stand at the edge of a season that could end in disappointment long before January football begins. And it didn't begin with the Texans. It didn't begin with Andy Reid's now infamous 4th and 1 at the 31-yard line. It began months ago, in Week 1 when the Chargers stunned Kansas City and exposed cracks we weren't ready to accept. From that moment on, the Chiefs have been fighting uphill, searching for answers, trying to rediscover a version of themselves that once terrified the NFL. But every week, the same story repeats. Missed opportunities, failed conversions, miscommunication on critical downs, a defense that can be dominant for entire quarters, only to be put back into impossible situations, an offense that still has playmakers but struggles to find rhythm behind an injured and rotating offensive line, and a team that, despite its heart, can't seem to execute when everything is on the line. NFL Live revealed the harsh truth. Kansas City's playoff chances sit at just 6%. 6% for a team that has ruled the AFC West for 9 straight seasons and reached the AFC Championship every year since Mahomes took over. 6% for a roster that was once considered invincible. The dynasty is not over, but the noise around it is louder than ever. Yet, as bleak as the numbers look, the story is far from finished. Because for the first time in years, Kansas City is being forced to fight like an underdog. This isn't a team coasting toward another division crown. This is a team battling for its postseason life, clawing for every yard, every stop, every breath of hope still left in the season. And that alone makes this chapter worth watching. The path is brutally clear. Kansas City must win out. They must take down the Chargers at Arrowhead in a game that will determine whether this season ends in heartbreak or resurgence. They must beat the Broncos, another physical AFC West rival who would love nothing more than to shut the door on KC's season. And they must handle business on the road against the Titans and Raiders, games that traditionally would be considered automatic wins, but now feel like tests of resolution and identity. And while the Chiefs must handle their own business, they also need a little help. The Chargers must stumble in a brutal closing stretch. Other AFC contenders must falter just enough for Kansas City to slide into that final wildcard spot. It is a narrow path, but it is a path nonetheless. And as long as there is a path, this franchise cannot be counted out. This moment is not about Patrick Mahomes alone. It is about a team that has been bruised, battered, questioned, doubted, yet still refuses to fold. It is about veterans fighting to extend a legacy, young players learning what pressure truly feels like, and a coaching staff trying to reinvent their identity in real time. It is about the fight, the grit, the unshakable pride of wearing red and gold. The Chiefs have achieved too much, overcome too many obstacles, and silenced too many critics to go quietly now. Kansas City has one last opportunity to remind the NFL why this franchise became a dynasty in the first place. And maybe, just maybe, the struggle of this season will become the very spark that reignites their greatness. Chiefs Kingdom, I want to hear from you. Do you believe this team can run the table? Do you still have faith in this coaching staff, this defense, this locker room? Let your voice be heard in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to Chiefs Kingdom Report for full coverage as we enter the most defining stretch of the season. This isn't the end. Not yet. Not while there is still time on the clock, and not while this team still has fight left in them.